Heichiko at Shibuya Station, Tokyo, 1933. In 1950, American company Ortho, one of the largest fertilizer producers, discovered that its ammonium sulfate was selling poorly, just like the competitors. The company's managers decided, it's time to change strategy. Construction worker eating lunch during a break at a skyscraper in New York, 1930. 80-year-old Tom, called the last cannibal of Fiji, in 1905, photographed after cannibalism had officially ended on the islands. The eruption of Khrushchevskaya Sopka, taken from space, Russia, 1994. Allied soldier inside a lookout tree, 1918. Initially, trees near the trench line were selected for this purpose. Then, photographs of these trees were taken from different angles, and high-quality models were made, which were later installed at night in place of the cut-down trees. Rapper 50 Cent in 1994. At that time, he was just a 19-year-old thug convicted for drug trafficking. 18th century spiked chair for executing witches, death by blood loss. 15th century underwear found during castle renovations in Lengburg, Austria, a sensational discovery in medieval fashion history. The largest found dicot leaf in the Amazon rainforest, South America. United Kingdom, 1943. A proud member of the Women's Corps shows off her new tattoo, a symbol of rebellion and style. Japanese soldiers abuse Chinese prisoners, Nanjing Massacre, 1938. Madame Gustaka, an Ethiopian woman with traditional lip stretching, became a sideshow act in New York. She was often shown smoking a pipe. Harvey Ball, the man who invented the smiley face. Imeo Charles River in Boston, 1908. Harry Houdini in chains before jumping from the Harvard Bridge. This legendary photo captures an iconic moment from Harry Houdini's career, preparing for one of his most dangerous stunts, jumping into icy water, chained and handcuffed. "Death is my main audience," said Houdini. This shot proves he played this game for real. A rally in support of Hitler's political ideas, photo from 1937. This rally is considered one of the largest in history. 8 years later, in 1945, many participants would claim they never supported Hitler. Anti-apartheid protesters in Cape Town, 1989. Police spray the protesters with colored water from a water cannon so they can be easily identified and arrested. American paratrooper in North Korea, 1950. 1939, the ocean liner St. Louis returns to Europe after a rejected voyage to the US and Canada. On board, Jewish refugees seeking asylum after the start of World War II. They were denied entry. A goose in Nike sneakers, USA, 1989. Andy the goose, born without legs on a farm in Nebraska, became a celebrity. At age 2, inventor Gene Fleming took him in and provided special shoes, and Andy learned to walk, fly, and swim. His story attracted media attention, and Nike offered Fleming a contract for shoe supplies. The goose's popularity grew, inspiring disabled children. However, in 1991, Andy was found dead in a park, and despite a reward, the killer was never found. Starving woman lying on Warsaw ghetto sidewalk. Photo taken by a German soldier, 1941. The first Coca-Cola bottle sold to the public, 1894. Martin Luther King Jr. and his son removing a burned cross from their yard, 1960. The planes of Angela Merkel, François Hollande, and the rock band Iron Maiden at Zurich Airport. Atmospheric photo from the early 1900s shows urban transport of the time, a streetcar, It was an era when horses still pulled wagons along rails. Dancing to death. During the Great Depression, millions of Americans were left without jobs. Many participated in dance marathons that lasted weeks and months without sleep, until only the most resilient couple remained. 1945, the day Dad came home. Gunner Hector Murdoch hadn't been home in over 4 years, most of it spent in a POW camp in Singapore. His wife Rosina and son John didn't know if he was alive. Hector returned on his birthday. Engineer plugging in one of the first computers, 1958. The strangest censorship in history. You won't believe it, but in the early 20th century, women couldn't show their legs. Male chauvinism ruled, and men could wear shorts with hairy varicose veins until old age. On beaches, special beach inspectors controlled the length of women's slender legs. But beauty still conquered varicose veins. Man surrounded by alligators and caimans, Florence Zoo, early 1900s. Horses used as barricades during the Spanish Civil War, Barcelona, 1936. Interior of a 1926 Rolls-Royce luxury car. In this touching photo from 1945, a little girl from France kisses an American soldier on the cheek on Valentine's Day. In my opinion, the photograph with the American soldier is quite ambiguous. If we recall that more than half of the civilian casualties in France during World War II were the result of American and British bombings. USA, 1956. An African-American family drinking water from a fountain labeled whites only. Next to it is a separate fountain labeled colored only. The contrast is striking. The people are neatly and decently dressed, but find themselves in a humiliating position due to racial segregation. Los Angeles, 1957. Elderly woman inspecting Vicki Dugan's daring dress at a film award banquet. Ivory traders at the Great Lakes region, Africa, 1880s. Dora Rathen, an athlete from the Olympic team of Germany, was arrested at a railway station on suspicion of being a man disguised in women's clothing, 1938. Cigarettes purchased from a hospital bed in the 1950s. Small child gives flower to older boy upon arrival at Auschwitz, 1944. A selfie with Adolf Hitler, Germany, 1930s. A real woman will always cover you, Italy, 1960. The opening of the fountains in Peterhof, 1983. An Inuit man warms his wife's feet, Greenland, 1880s. Hippo Phoebe and her baby refusing to pose for the camera at the Bronx Zoo, 1967. A Soviet lieutenant wipes his boots on a Nazi flag in Breslau, 1945. Musicians play for cows to see if music affects the amount of milk they produce, 1930. This man is Charles Arthur Floyd. In the 1930s, he robbed banks in America, and with every robbery, he burned all mortgage papers, freeing hundreds of people from mortgage payments. He became a popular figure and earned the nickname Pretty Boy Floyd. A smile just days before being sent to the Auschwitz gas chamber. Jacqueline Kennedy in a blood-stained suit watches Lyndon Johnson take the oath of office after the assassination of her husband, John F. Kennedy, USA, 1963. Driving training with a stone on the head, King's African Rifles, 1943. The father of Barack Obama served in this unit. Hillary Clinton listens as her husband denies his affair with Monica Lewinsky, 1998. Lifeboat with Titanic survivors, 1912. Doctors perform artificial respiration on a drowning victim while a woman in a swimsuit poses. New York, 1940. In this provocative shot from the mid-1980s, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar holds his young son Juan Pablo in front of the White House. Today, this photograph is used in Colombian schools during history lessons as an example of the corruption of the 1980s. New York City, 1900. What X-rays looked like in the 1900s. The first Indian satellite is transported by oxen, 1981. Beatles records burned in Waycross, Georgia, 1966. First elevator ride, USA, 1948. Pictured rural children, Kemp Savage and his cousin Bruce. Photo from Sknilov Airshow disaster, 2002. Many on the ground didn't survive. Shantytown in Central Park, New York, 1932. In 1901, in a small village in Japan, young girls looked after their younger siblings. In traditional areas, girls were raised and taught to care for children, even before they could give birth themselves. This is a common phenomenon in many regions of the world, even today, as in poorer traditional families. Other children looked after the younger ones so that the parents could work and feed everyone. Jacob Miller was shot in the head in 1863 and walked away. The bullet remained in his skull for decades. Levi Strauss made the first jeans in 1850 as work trousers for American miners. A champagne inspector with a special mask to protect from accidental bottle explosions, California, USA, 1933. One of the first tornadoes ever photographed, 1898. Christmas packages destined for soldiers who have been killed or are missing in action await return to sender stamps in New York, 1944. Special effects in the film industry in the 1960s. Trampoline inventor George Nissen jumps with a kangaroo, 1960. A mother teaches her children, Louisiana, USA, 1937. Prettiest legs contest. Women wore pillowcases over their heads to keep the focus on their legs. U.S., 1951. A severe natural disaster in Brazil in 2009, killing over 600 people. A dog named Leo stayed at his owner's grave for days. German prisoners of war, 1945. Uzbek schoolgirls during a math lesson. Tashkent, Turkestan Soviet Republic, 1921. Human traffic light operator, 1922. Spruce trees hung over a road to camouflage it from the air. Finland, 10 kilometers from the Soviet border, 1941. Gas mask parade, Tokyo, Japan, 1930s. Snow blockade in Minnesota, USA, March 29, 1881. Slaves in chains, Zanzibar, 1865. Philippine Aborigines in an enclosure at the New York Zoo, 1905. The return of Belka and Strelka after their spaceflight aboard Sputnik 5, 1960. Native Americans getting accustomed to a car, 1915. Farmer Mrs. Maud Lee and her daughter Pat enjoy breakfast with their pet sheep named Betty, England, 1949. Telephone line inspection, India, 1944. British magician Kuda Bux demonstrates his ability to see with his eyes closed, England, 1937. Kashmir Giants with Traveler Professor Rickleton, India, 1903. Albanians storm the cargo ship Vlora, demanding to be taken to neighboring Italy, Albania, August 1991. The largest submarine in the world, called Akula, USSR, 1981. Morrison shelter occupancy during World War II, Blitz, UK. Korean refugees crossing a bomb-damaged bridge, 1950. Sanitation workers strike in America, 1968. Prison in Panama, a net over a ravine, 1920. South African police beating women with batons in Durban, 1962, after they destroyed a brewery to protest alcohol production bans. This rare photo captures a transitional moment in history, a 1915 school bus where technological progress meets traditional horsepower. While large cities had already switched to cars, rural schools continued to use such transportation for another decade. USA 1915. The first woman to attempt to vote. When trying to enter a polling station, she was pushed out and thrown to the ground. United Kingdom, 1872. The absurd death of American dancer Isadora Duncan. Her scarf got caught in the rear wheel of a car, instantly breaking her neck. Nice. September 14th, 1927. After a 7-day strike, Woolworth store employees in Detroit celebrate their victory. They managed to raise wages by 20%, reduce working hours to 40 hours a week, and receive overtime pay, 1937. Coal delivery to the 5th floor, France, 1917. Soviet soldier rolling a captured bicycle while locals butcher a dead horse, Berlin, 1945. Telepathic experiment, 1920. In the early 20th century, science wasn't only exploring radio waves and X-rays, it was also delving into extrasensory abilities. Experiments were conducted to test thought transmission between humans and animals. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting and that you'll want to give it a like. You can also subscribe to our channel. And yes, Jim, if you're watching, come by and finally pick up your shirt. See you soon.